this morning. That southeaster has dropped right off, swung around to the north, and it's quite light, so it's just enough to push us over to the next island, which is Scawfell Island. So we are now leaving this lagoon system on this island. At the same time, the turtles are doing the same thing. Those turtles we've been watching each day are heading out to the ocean to feed, and we're heading over to Scawfell to explore another island. Anyway, you can see the guys up ahead of me. They're in the deep water now. I'm about to jump my craft and sail out of this beautiful, beautiful lagoon. Anyway, the sun's out. It's absolutely stunning. Couldn't picture a more perfect place to be. Today I have the spare drive in. We were unable to fix the other drive. There was a few components broken, and yeah, it was a non-event. So we now are down to no spare drives. Derek does have a bunch of spares for the V2 version of the Mirage drive. That doesn't help this particular drive out. It's a reverse drive, but the other two guys have V2s. So get a radio check, guys.
Mark, this is DK, read you loud and clear. Loud and clear, Mark, over.
Copy that. We've just left the wind shadow of the island, and there's bugger all wind at the moment. It's only probably around 5 knots from the northeast, which is not pushing us along very fast, so it's a little bit of pedalling. But on the plus side, there's been some whales in the horizon breaching, which has been a bit of entertainment. Wake up, Derek. So I've just furled the sail. Just wanted to show you behind me there. That's Penrith Island. That's where we're going to, straight up ahead. That's Scawfell Island. That set of rocks just before it, that's 3 rocks. We're going to go past that. Then over into the distance, that's Keswick and St. Bees Island. And then over to our port side, that's Derwent Island. So it's going to be a long day ahead. We're going to be lucky to make it there by dark. At this stage, we're looking at probably a 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock ETA. The wind has just died. It's dead. There's nothing. There's some few gusts of 5 knots to push us along a little bit, but it's pretty much pedal power all the way. So yeah, so that's why I've just jumped in for a swim just to cool off, because I'm starting to overheat in this gear, but I can't get away from wearing it because yeah, I've got to protect myself from the sun. It's just as bad. Anyway, I'll get this sail back out, and fingers crossed we get some wind, because yeah, it's going to be a long trip. Bloody last thing I needed was a shark. So I got it to the surface, and it's just a shark. It looks like I fouled hooked him. As much as I'd love to get my lure back, it's going to be a while before I can get this thing to the boat and extract the lure. We really need to get to the next island. So I'm going to have to cut this guy off and get moving again. I just spent a good 20 minutes trying to pull that fish in to find out it was a shark that I'd fouled hooked. Super hard to get up to the surface, just kept on running, jumping. Once I spotted him I realised what it was. Anyway, I've decided to cut the lure. I've lost the lure, but it was going to take just too long to get that shark to the boat. And we do have to make this island because we're already pushing it as it is. Still no wind at this stage, so it's all pedal power for the next 5-6 hours till we get to the island. Let's hope that wind still comes, eh? I've lost a bit of ground on the guys. They're probably a kilometre ahead now, so I'll have to chip in and work these legs and catch up. It's roughly 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the sail is finally providing some shade from the sun. We made it to Scawfell Island. We made Scawfell Island at 4 o'clock today, but we had to go up around the eastern side and up around the northern side, and we've come into Refuge Bay. No wind at all today. It was a huge day. We've done 8.5 hours of pedalling and very little sailing. We've actually got a little bit of wind, ironically, coming into this bay, which is nice just to give the legs a rest before we get it. Carry all the gear up onto the beach tonight. As you can see, the sun behind me is about to set. It's 5:30. So yeah, we want to try and do everything as quickly as possible. I'm just going to do a tack here. Anyway, tomorrow the plan is we need to sail to the next island. So although today was tough, it's going to be tougher tomorrow with sore legs. My legs were already sore from the hike I did yesterday with all the dive gear down to the mangroves. They're going to be even sore tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to sit back, have something to eat tonight.
Mark, this is DK.
And there's Derek.
You copy?
The crew's a bit bruised and battered this morning. We had that massive 8.5 hour pedal yesterday, and ironically last night the wind actually blew at night time. So yeah, I was kicking myself. But anyway, we're here on beautiful Scawfell Island. It's a beautiful location. A little bit busy at the moment. It's a long weekend here and quite a few people have travelled out here for the weekend with their boats. There was a lot more boats here last night. A lot of the yachties have taken off, but we've still got a couple of people here. So the campsite's pretty full. We had to scramble for a spot last night. Let's go up and have a look at the campsite before we pack up. We're off again this morning. We're heading over to Keswick Island for our last night before we sail back to Mackay. So this is our campsite just up here. We had some campers over to the right of us, campers over to the left, and there's another couple of lads down the end there. They actually offered us a nice cold beer last night. How was that beer last night, Derek? The cold beer?
Magic! You couldn't ask for better, could you? After a long hot day, cool beer, beautiful scene. Yeah, it was really good, really welcome.
Alright, so we're just going to have a look at the campsite. I'm just in the process of packing up, so excuse the mess. So we had Deb here, I slept here, Derek's over here. Over the back, that's the first toilet we've seen in 10-11 days. And there's also a structure over here with tables on it and some fresh water. We actually got to wash up with fresh water last night. So there's some people over there, we won't bother them. So yeah, the plan is we're going to head off in the next hour or so, load the kayaks and head over to the next island. Little stowaway, look who I caught. Little cricket. Tried to jump island to the next one. Just going to put him back here where it belongs. We're off the beach. We're heading to Keswick Island. We're leaving Scawfell. It was a really quick stop here last night. It was quite crowded, so we haven't seen people for almost a couple of weeks, so it was a bit weird sleeping right next to people. Anyway, we're on the water. There's a really light breeze at the moment. Fingers crossed today that we get a little bit more breeze than yesterday. That was hard work. Just getting some breeze coming out of the bay right now. Derek's leading the way, Deb's behind, and I'm dragging the chain like usual. Currently the tide is still rising at the moment. But it's imperative that we make it to the next campsite before the dropping tide. At low tide, the beach where we're camping is not accessible. It's surrounded by coral reef, so we're on a little bit of a time frame, and we're just hoping that this wind will assist us in getting there at a reasonable time. Definitely do not want another late night tonight. That really knocked the wind out of us, so to speak. That's our next island in the horizon. That's Keswick and St. Bees Island, which is about 40 degrees to our port. Currently we're heading towards this island over here. That's Cockermouth Island, and just to the left of it, that's Brampton Island. So we've had to change our course slightly to account for the changing currents. So the currents are running to the south at the moment, so pushing us off course somewhat. He hooked pretty quickly. So the wind is a little bit better today. It's helped pushing us along with the current, which has been a huge help this morning. We're only probably less than an hour from the island, and I just managed to hook onto a little spotty mackerel. So that's going to be lunch for us today. Absolutely delicious. Derek got a really nice one the other day, and yeah, sashimi is top notch. So we're just going through the channel between St. Bees Island and Keswick Island over to my port side. That's St. Bees. Over to my starboard, that's Keswick. So we're staying on Keswick tonight. We're going around to the southern side of the island. Interesting fact is, over here on St. Bees, there's a really healthy population of koalas. There used to be a lot of goats on the island too, but they had to do a cull because they're not a natural animal. But yeah, it's super cool. I've never seen a koala over there, but there's a whole research place just further up. So we've made Keswick Island. The guys have set up camp, and I'd like to welcome you to the Hobie Beach Bar, whereas our chef for today, Derek, is serving us fresh sashimi. And you can see Deb over in the background. She's waiting patiently for the plate.
She doesn't have to wait patiently, there's heaps here.
So the plan is this afternoon, a bit of R&R, and then tomorrow we're heading back to the mainland. We're joined today, we've got a boat out here, and we've got a couple of guys over here which I know, Cody and that from the spearfishing club. Anyway, they may come over a bit later and join us for a bite Right, Tweez. How's that, Cody?
Pretty good, man. Pretty bloody good. Morning we got a bit of a competition with the dive club that Mark and myself and Harley are in.
Okay.
Yeah, basically it's good weather and it's the King's birthday. So I decided, oh stuff it, let's do a King's comp. So whoever gets the largest trout is going to be named King of the Island kind of thing.
Afternoon activities. Try and get those coconuts. Three. Success. One, two, three. Say goodbye to our beautiful campsite here on Keswick Island. We're now headed back to the mainland. This is our last crossing from this island back to a little township of Imeo in Mackay. So it's been a great sail. It's been some hard days, but there's been some great days and moments amongst that too. Anyway, the tide has come in. The guys are out in the water right now, so they're waiting for me. I'll jump on the old Hobie Adventure Island and get out there with them. So this morning, legs very fatigued, body's very fatigued. We've still got a 27-kilometre hike over to the mainland. We're going to land at Imeo today, and the forecast for today is quite light winds, only as much as 7 knots. The only breeze we're going to get all day. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of leg work. This is bad, Captain. Got a radio check there?
Gotcha there, bad captain, over.
Our heading today is a 249 degree heading southwest.
Hey!
I just thought I'd come over and ask if we can swap boats.
Yeah! I'm not sure about that. We can tour, give you a tour if you want.
See you on the mainland. So in the first hour of our crossing, we've covered 5 kilometres. We've got 22 to go. So the forecast today was from the north, so the wind should be blowing that way. But it's not. It's coming from the south, it's blowing that way, which is okay because we're heading west. It's beam on either way. It's a light breeze. It's pushing us along at a nice little speed. There's a little bit of pedalling involved, but at least we have some wind today. As you can see, it's an absolute glass out. The old legs are getting a workout and the wind is gone.
That wind seems to be taking a bit of a rest.
Oh, so damn hot today. The wind has slowly died off as the day has progressed. Right now there's literally no wind. And all I'm doing is using my sail as a shade to try and keep myself out of the sun. But it's still damn hot. Anyway, so we're about 6k from Imeo Beach. I've been pedaling for 5 hours now. Like I said, we did have some wind at the start of the day, but yeah, it's just disappeared now. Hey Deb, people pay good money for this in the gym.
It's like a Pilates move. Sorry, I'm just getting the air back in.
Today be good sunshine.
Float. Oh shit, pressure's on.
Don't drop me bananas.
There it goes. 2.
Chuck it! Chuck it!
Let me focus.
Focus! Oh! Right now I'm just about to go through a slick of algae. This time of year we get algae blooms where the warm water meets the cold water, and yeah, it's a little bit smelly. Well, we've finally reached Imeo Beach, 6.5 hours later, and I'll tell you what, it feels good to be here. Gonna go straight up to the Imeo pub, have a beer, have a skewy, and enjoy one of life's simple little creations.